time for Ink the Book Show with your host, Ryan O'Connor. And now, let's ink the book. Hey everybody, it's your old pal me. Ever heard of me? We're doing page 89 of my first graphic novel called Bonehead. So we're starting with the Crux Works Poison Factory. And then we've got Bonehead and his buddy Mort. Let's get into it, everybody. Woo! Let's get some light on the situation. Okay. I got my ink poured. I got my tea poured. It's a good night to draw. Okay. Roll up my sleeves and get to work. Getting some ink on the brush. Just trying to get a point on in my tip. Let's see. Doesn't seem to be working out though. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. Just had to get it a little more saturated in ink. So last night, I was recording a podcast with my brothers. It's the second one we've done. It's actually a YouTube thing. I think he hasn't. I think my brother Liam has not posted the second video that we recorded yet, because I think he goes through it and edits it. But also before that, I was helping him make a title sequence for that. A real simple title thing. That. Oh, so my brother wrote a song for it. And I guess his plan is to do like different lyrics every episode. Though there's no theme song on the first one, there may very well be one on the second one when it's posted. But I got bogged down with technical difficulties forever because this computer is not very resilient. I'm working off an old laptop here, and it gets a little bogged down when I try to do the digital video work stuff, but I pulled off what I was trying to pull off anyway. I invited a bunch of people to come in, but I don't know if any of them are going to come in. that's okay. We'll talk to ourselves. I just made myself a burger and some fries. That was good. It was like smothered in cheese and onions. That's good. I am always terrified that I haven't turned the mic back on before I switch from the theme song. Like when I switch it onto the camera, I'm always terrified. I always have this like little start of fear that I haven't turned the mic on after I've been talking forever. But I think that happened once, and it's just been a fear of mine ever since, that I'm just talking and talking and talking with no mic on. Let's see. So this is an exterior shot of where Bonehead works, the Crux Works Poison Factory. And he's trying to sneak in after hours now because he left his ring that he was going to propose to his girlfriend with. He thinks he lost it in the vents that he was crawling around in earlier. Do all the bottoms, all the tops. Inside, 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 sides. Corner, corner, corner. Oh, okay. I think it's partly because I'm talking, because I don't think I usually do, but I noticed that I sigh a lot when I'm drawing. I mean, not normally, but when I'm on these videos and talking, I find myself sighing a lot. Ooh. Tomorrow. So today's the middle of my three brothers. I'm the oldest of 7. I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. And today is the middle of those brothers' birthday. He is think he's 24 today. It's my brother Jimmy, who's the one brother not on that little podcast thing that we recorded last night that I was talking about. So he hasn't been a part of it yet. But my other two brothers were. Anyway, it's his birthday today. And yeah. I think we're doing something tomorrow. We're doing it's a surprise. So I'm hesitant to say it now. But we're doing this thing called Whirly Ball, where it's like you have like lacrosse scoops kind of things, and then you're trying to wing balls into nets, like kind of like basketball but with scoops. And then it's also in bumper cars, so you're crashing cars into people and driving around while you're doing it. It's really fun. I've done it a couple times in the past, and it's a blast. That's what we're doing tomorrow. So come to think of it, I don't think I'll be on tomorrow. I'm having such a rough go at making time for this this comic lately, but that's okay. I'm still getting it done, I guess. But yeah, I don't think I'll be on tomorrow. But then I also have a bit more free time than I've had in a while coming up this week. A little bit more. Oh, and I don't know if I showed this here. I haven't posted it yet because I think I want to do something else with the background. I drew this guy with dog heads for hands because it was something to draw. I don't know. I don't always know why I draw what I draw. Sometimes I just draw what I draw. And that's what you get. It's colored with Prismacolor Markers, which I've been using since middle school. I had a friend in middle school named Mike Giuliano who would do these cool character drawings, and he would always color them with Prismacolor markers. And that's when I started buying Prismacolor markers, and I've been using them ever since. They can be pretty expensive though, and I used to always go to Hobby Lobby and buy like, I'd buy like 7 at a time, and they were like $7 a piece. Oh man, excuse me, just a moment. I'm just gonna mute the mic for a bit. Whoa. Okay. I had to take a call. But what was I talking about? I was talking about... Oh. Who knows? I was talking about Prismacolor markers that I use to color all my sketchbook drawings. I would buy them at Hobby Lobby for like $7 a piece. So every once in a while I'd like save up $50 and I'd go buy like 7 new ones at a time. And then one day I was like, oh man, because Hobby Lobby, they're never open on Sundays. And I was like, I don't know. I decided for some reason I did, maybe it was because it was on Sunday or something, but I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense because I wouldn't get them right away. But anyway, for some reason I decided to buy them online instead, and I went to dickblick.com, and they were like half the price. They were like $3 a piece, and I think some of them at the time were like $2 something. If you bought 12 or more, and I was like, heck yeah, I'll buy 12 right now for half the price of what I usually pay for them. I don't know why it never occurred to me to buy them online before. And I checked other places because I was buying a lot at that time, and this was like maybe 3 years ago. And and I checked other online stores. I even tried hobbylobby.com and I think Prismacolor's website or whatever, but I don't think you can even order them on their website. I think it just shows you a list of retailers that carry them. But like I think I checked Walmart or something and all kinds of places, and I think dickblick.com was the best priced place to get Prismacolor. Though, I see a lot of artists using Copic markers, and I really want to start checking those out. I've never used them, but I like what I see in other people's work that use them. They look real slick. And then with those, I think you just buy the markers once, and then you just buy refills for them. You buy refills of the colors, which maybe isn't as expensive as buying whole new markers all the time. I don't know. But I might start checking those out. I don't even know what kind of money those things cost. Let's see. So the podcast that me and my brothers started recording. Like I said, we did one episode that's somewhere on YouTube, where I don't talk too much in that one because I felt like my brothers were talking a lot and I was just drawing and piping in every so often. But it's called Nam Just, which is a thing my brother Liam has always said for years, where it started with him saying, "No, I'm just kidding," and then after a while he would always say, "No, I'm just." But it would get to a point where he would it almost sounded like a Tourette's syndrome thing where he was just saying it all the time. I'm just. And like after a while, like all his friends say it too, and it's just like it's become this like iconic little thing that he says. And I think the YouTube channel that he's posting it to is also called Nam Just. But yeah, it's me, my brother Mike, and my brother Liam, and not my brother Jimmy for some reason. I think it's just a matter of wrangling 4 people together at once is just kind of a tricky thing. But I think he just also decided he wasn't going to be able to make it work regularly. I might not be able to either, but I'll certainly try. And the one we recorded last night I felt was generally better. I talked a lot more on the one that we recorded last night. I know we talked about Mexican food. We talked about well, I don't remember what we talked about. I forget. It was just a sprawling conversation. I know we did talk about Mexican food for a while at the beginning. Also, I think I drank 2 or 3 beers during the time that we were recording. It was a fun time. Oh, and I was all bent out of shape because I was having so many technical difficulties trying to make right before we started recording that, I had just finished putting together the little title thing that I had made, but I had to do it twice because the render didn't work. But then when I had gone to save my file, I had rendered it, but I didn't get a chance to save the project, and I was going to save it, and then it crashed on me. So I was like, oh, well, at least I got the render. And then we went to play the render, and I didn't render it right. So the video wasn't there, just the audio. So I had to go back in and make it a second time. I did make it much better the second time around. But all the same, I was just exhausted by the time we started actually recording. And I don't know. But it made for some I don't know. it was fun. It was a fun little record. A fun little thing we made last night. A fun conversation. How about? But I think he's probably editing that now. I don't know when it'll be up. Maybe in a day or two. It's about how fast he did the last one anyway. Okay. So here. Got these little metal fence post type thingies. And I think this is the second time I do pretty much this same shot in this book. I think the first one was really small. No, I don't know. Maybe not, actually. But I know I either copied or at least referenced the same drawing earlier in the book. Now I'm really curious as to how much Copic markers cost. I'm going to try and look it up while I draw. Can he pull it off, folks? Hold on. Click. So let's see. We've got dickblick.com here. Copic markers. Copic original. I texted my brother happy birthday at 8 a.m. and he just responded now. Happy birthday. Hope you have a great one, I said. And it's exactly 12 hours later. He says, I did. Thank you, Rhino. Exactly 12 hours later, he sends his response. Oh, I was pulling up that website. Okay, they have markers and sets. Save 25% or more off of list. So it looks like $520 to $400 $121, and I think that's for like their smallest offering to their largest. So it looks like individual colors are upwards of $5, almost $6 a marker. Man, so these are like about twice as expensive as the current markers I use. But let's see, what did the sets cost? And also the other markers I use, there's a deal where if you buy 12 or more, there's a price break, but it doesn't look like that's the case with these. They have a set of 12 that is $70. So that's about the same, isn't it? 12 divided by, oh wait, 70 divided by 12. Yeah, it's right about the same. Dang. Looks like there's no getting around that price here. Oh, I might dabble in them. You know, yeah, I've found since I started kind of trying new art supplies and stuff, um, it kind of it's not it. What am I trying to say? Like spending more money tends to be worth it in my experience so far. Though I've gotten a couple tools that I spent a good amount of money on, and then I couldn't figure out how to use them well, or I couldn't make good use of them. Let's see, it was like either user error or something like that. I bought like I think it's still in this drawer. I don't see it. This big, it's like a whiteout pen. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know what I did with it. I bought it, and it was like a whiteout pen, and the first time I used it, it just kind of like did a big blob of white, and like it all came out at once pretty much. And I tried it one more time, and barely anything came out, and that was it. That's all the use I ever got out of it. I'm sure I can refill it and do something with it, but I've since found other white out tools that I like using. But yeah, aside from like not being able to figure it out once I own it. Aside from that, I don't want to start sword fighting the camera. Okay. But yeah, like with these brushes are $24 a piece, which like when I first heard that, I was like, not for me. And I would buy these like packs of 12 brushes for like $5 at the art store. And then but then once I bought these for this book, once I started using these brushes, I was like, wow, that actually makes a huge difference. Same with when I finished the store brand version of this ink. I decided to, like, when I ran out, I bought the name brand from whatever website, from dickblick.com actually. Again, I just ordered it before I ran out of the like right before I ran out of the last one, so I would have something in time. And then I started using that ink, and it just made all the difference in the world again. So like this brush, the more expensive brush, the more expensive ink. It was just not so. And what am I trying to say? Sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. I would. It's not that it is like the store brand version of this ink, the Hobby Lobby India ink, would be really good at being a thick black. Like my big black spots would be thicker than this ink, which when I do big black areas, you can see it's kind of thin and watery looking sometimes, more so than the speed, or more so than the Hobby Lobby store brand India ink would be. And it would go on blacker and thicker, the store brand, but the Speedball brand would be real. It gets real watery. It, like if I did this whole side of the building, which I might do, all in black, it you would see a lot of my strokes in there, even though it was supposed to be solid black. But the thing that I like about it, the thing that makes all the difference in the world, is just the comfort of it's easier to throw down with this brush, with this ink, than when I was doing the store brand, the generic brand ink, and using the generic brand brush, the cheap stuff. Like I don't know if I'll ever use that stuff again on a big project like this. Like maybe for more goofy stuff, like my sketchbook stuff. Why not? But like long laborious projects, I would recommend spending a little more money on your materials, because it's made for it, I guess, because it was just so much easier to work with. Let's see. Oh wait, I thought that was a long window. It was just a guide. And future episodes of that podcast that we are starting to do, we might be doing at my house in my basement, where I've got a bar that my roommate built. I kind of helped design the pattern on the front face of it, and I kind of helped build it a little bit, but it was pretty much mostly my roommate that built it. That was his passion project when we first moved in to this house. Wanted to build a bar for the basement. And I'm almost never down there anymore, so I guess that'll be cool. Oh, and I should say that Namjust is spelled Nahmjust. Though I'll warn, I don't know how skilled at doing entertaining conversations we are, but and also it gets a little more it's a little less cuddly conversation than I try to keep here, where I because I'm with my brothers who are gonna swear a lot and stuff, like I kind of will more there. And here on this channel, I try not to swear. I try to keep it family friendly and stuff as much as I can. Because I just want like kids to be allowed to come here and check this out if they like. And but you know. And then when I'm hanging out with my brothers, it's just a looser kind of environment to begin with. well, I guess they don't both work with my dad painting houses anymore, but for a while it was like all my brothers but me worked with my dad painting houses, and they would just like all day long they would just be talking smack to each other and making fun of each other, and you know, so they're kind of in the like that's kind of how they are with each other. They're just always, I don't know, and that's kind of what goes on what's been going on that thing that we've been recording so far. It's good stuff. I don't know, chummy camaraderie with a lot of picking on each other, I think. Oh. I don't think I'm the most qualified person to be talking or like talking on camera for long periods of time like I do, or to be filmed on camera for long periods of time either. But it's been fun so far. Oh man, it dropped like 15 degrees since was it yesterday or the day before? I don't know. My days are blending together because I feel like it. At least by the end of the day yesterday, it was like 15 degrees, and then all day today it's been like 13 to 18 degrees. Stupid winter, stupid weather. So tomorrow we're doing whirly ball. For my brother's birthday. So they changed the day on me. And I can almost not change my I don't know, like my I have the dumbest work schedule of anyone I know. It's all over the place. So it was like they asked if I could if people would be able to make this work on Saturday. I was like, yeah, can do, can do. And I like arranged it so I could make Saturday work. And then at the last minute they were like, no, let's do it on Friday. We can't make Saturday work anymore. I'm like, you're killing me. But it worked out. Okay. Here's Boneheads Rumbled Tie. Which is kind of inspired by Dilbert, which I always thought was a profoundly boring comic. Now, when I first started drawing Bonehead, his tie was straight. It was just a straight black tie. But after a while, I started drawing it all wrinkled or like zigzaggy because I thought it would be. I thought it had a little more character, and I thought it kind of indicated that he was kind of a natural born loser. Is kind of what I wanted to convey with that. Like, I don't know. Okay. See, there's that sighing again. I'm not I'm not all. I'm not in despair. I'm just. I don't know. I'm not that weary as I might sound when I do that. I remember when I was in college, there was this one guy who would just sigh all the time. I was like, I always kind of, it always kind of bugged me. Like, I was like, is the world weighing that heavy on your shoulders, dude? I think it was. I don't even think he was like all weary or anything like that. It was just a little quirk he had. But I was always a little self conscious whenever I would sigh from then on. Okay. So in the next panel, he's going but I don't like the placement or the font that I drew that in. I always just hand draw fonts out of my head when I've done them on any of these pages. And I've been pretty impressed with a lot of the like the onomatopoeias that I've done so far. I don't think I'm gonna use this though. I don't like the look of it. I don't like the placement I gave it. Um, and it's I'm probably gonna do something digital, so I'm just gonna draw the background there. And plus, it's going to be in a word bubble anyway, and I probably shouldn't be drawing it directly onto the page anyhow. Not if it's going to be in a word bubble. Okay. Let's see. Oops. Okay. And then actually, maybe I should do an onomatopoeia on this one, because I think the bush rustles. He's like, what was that? So I think I'm actually going to make it say rustle. Not like the name, but the verb. Okay. Rustle. Ooh. My favorite band, They Might Be Giants. They're putting out a vinyl edition of one of their albums, Mink Car, which has been out since September 11th, 2001, which, was that day. And I think it's kind of it did very poorly because it came out on this like national tragedy, like the same time as this national tragedy. So it really got overlooked and undersold, and it never had a vinyl release like many of their other records. I mean, like most of their other records at that point had, I believe. Well, I guess it was about that time they kind of stopped doing vinyl anyway, but they've been going through their whole catalog and releasing vinyl of everything lately. And I think that was like the one of the last ones that they hadn't done. But it's getting a vinyl release, and it looks really cool. I just saw a picture of it today, and I guess it comes with a download of the album, and that download includes a track featuring one of my other favorite musicians, Mike Doty. It's one of my. I really like this song. It's called "Your Mom's All Right." I mean, I have that album, I have that song, I have it all, and I don't really have a vinyl player of my own right now. My last one, the needle broke, and I never fixed it. But I I do have a bunch of vinyl, but I don't think I need it. But I'm excited that they're putting it out. I guess a little bit. I'm just excited that they, whenever they do anything, for no good reason, I'm just excited. There's all this grass behind him. So this is something I've been trying to focus on doing. It still makes me a little nervous to do it sometimes, but I'm trying to go back over the drawings of my characters, and I guess just the drawing in general. A lot of times, just do varied line weights, which mostly ends up for me being thickening up characters or parts of characters that are in front. I just I just try to thicken up the line weights here and there to make it pop from the background. And it usually looks pretty good, but it's like I'm always nervous about doing it. And I certainly was too afraid to do it like beyond a couple of years ago. I never really did any varying of line weights. But it can really do a lot to help make your characters stand out. And I don't know, make the drawing pop. See, the way this is positioned or written, like it almost looks like he's going, ah, instead of ah. So I think I'm going to ignore that and do something digitally when I start adding the word bubbles and dialogue to the story. Golly, I'm tired. I'm always tired lately, though. But you know what would have helped me not be so tired? If I didn't eat right before going on. That didn't help. Okay, here's his eye socket. Oof. Mama mercy. Let's see. Okay. So, I've been listening to this podcast by the two stars of the show Scrubs, where they're rewatching the episodes in order and talking about them and having other people from the show come on and stuff like that. Called Fake Doctors, Real Friends. And I'm about caught up to the last episodes that I've watched. So I think I'm going to put down the Wonder Years and maybe watch a couple episodes of that tonight before I go to bed. Watch a couple episodes of Scrubs. I haven't even seen the Wonder Years in a few days now. I haven't been watching anything. I haven't had time to. Ugh. I woke up at 3 this morning. after we recorded that podcast episode, I fell asleep at my desk. And I woke up at 3 in the morning. And I was parked on the street instead of in my driveway. So I woke up and remembered that. And I went and moved my car. And what else? And then I woke up at 6 and moved my car again because I realized I had to move it. I wanted to move it for my roommate who's about to go to work. And then I got up at 7 and started my car to heat it up, and then pulled back into the driveway as well. And then at 7:30 I left the house. A lot of getting out of bed and moving my car this morning. Maybe more than I needed to, but you know what's weird? I don't know if this is normal at all, but whenever I get like tears in my eyes or like if my eyes start to water lately, it always burns. It like kind of stings. That seems weird to me. That never used to happen. Like it feels like an allergic thing, but like I mean, maybe it is if my eyes are just starting to water, but it's like when I've gotten like emotional tears in my eyes watching something emotional or thinking about something emotional, I guess, and I get like tears in my. Even then, it's like it burns, and I have to like rub my eyes a lot. Is that normal? I think it's probably been the past few years that seemed to just start happening. Like I just thought of it because just now my eyes started kind of burning all of a sudden. So it's probably. I mean, if it was just that, I would think it was some kind of allergy that I've developed or something. But that doesn't explain the other one, like the tear kind of burning. That seems weird to me. I mean, I don't cry. I'm too macho to cry. You're a baby. Oh, woof. I'm almost done with this cup of tea, and I'm not almost done with this page, so I'm going to heat up some more water. I turned the heater, the water boiler on, or whatever you call it, the kettle. I turned on the kettle. Ugh. Ugh. So I was thinking about it earlier, and it's like I never felt quite as fulfilled as an artist as I do now making this comic. Like, it might not be the best comic in the world, but I am doing my best job I can on it for right now, anyway. And I mean, maybe I'll get better as I continue to do comics, or maybe even as I continue this comic in particular. But I never felt as fulfilled as an artist until I started actually like making my own book. And who knows, the finished product might never see the end of day, you know? I won't know until I finish it. But it just feels like really good to be like doing what I want, and just like making time for what I feel in my heart is like a worthwhile project. Something that, like, these characters, they just occupy my brain, and I just make stories of them in my head. And it was like I was just never getting around to it ever, to telling the stories. But like, now that I'm doing one and seeing it through, it just feels like I don't, like, I always used to have this thing in my heart, like, I'll never be a real artist. And I still feel like I'm not a real comic book artist, you know? But I feel like that little artist hole in my heart is kind of satisfied, satiated. And the cool thing is, it's like anybody can make a comic. I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. And I mean, my 5-year-old nephew is making comics. And I just think, if you have any doubts that you're capable of making one, if that's something you think you want to do, or like ever, I just say like go for it, and once you like, you know, take your time, write a good story, but don't like for me, I didn't wait to have the story perfect or the dialogue perfect. I wrote a script and I tried to write as good a script for these characters as I could come up with. And now I'm coming up with ideas to make it even make it a better story. But I mean, I didn't wait till the script was perfect to just start. I just figured as I draw, I'll kind of, you know, pick apart the script and fix it as I go a little bit. But I held myself to that, like I tried to, I added scenes and I came up with things to change and stuff as I went. But I mean, if you take the time and just to do your best, even if it's just like all screw around, just off the wall, nutty stuff, and if you're worried if you're gonna draw bad, I don't know. I just think like all these things were in my heart, but I was like, I get so impressed with it along the way, and I might be the only person impressed with it ultimately. I don't know, but when I look at the pages, the stacks of pages, and I'll flip through them every once in a while, like because I get this like fraud complex all the time. Like I'm doing it, like this is terrible. Like this isn't working, and then I'll like look through the pages coming up, and I'm like, no, man, this is gonna be good. This is gonna work. This is gonna work. And I get kind of like really. Anytime I go through it and flip through pages, I always get a boost of confidence. So that I feel like that's a good sign. But at the same time, it's like I didn't think I was capable of doing anything to all that good. But then when I look through the pages, I see all this stuff that I'm really impressed with, and then I move on to the next step, like inking. Like I would look through the pages in the pencil form and get excited, and then I see some of the page. I go back and look through some of the pages after I inked them. I'm like, man, it got even better. And then eventually, I'm gonna start. I think April or May or something. I think May or June. I'm planning on starting to color the book, and I can't wait. I've never colored. I mean, I've colored drawings before, but to some great effect too. Sometimes, but I am nervous about coloring this comic. But I'm excited too because I feel like it'll just bump this up a whole nother notch. And I feel like I was saying, I feel like anybody, if they really wanted to, as long as you put in the work and chip away at it every day, I think anybody can make a comic. And I think if you're nervous about it, just let yourself dive in and put the effort in, and like I said, chip away at it every day until you finish your thing. And I think even if there's something to be desired from it, like if maybe it's not perfect, but I think you'll find that just getting it done yields some results that you'll be pleased with. There's a thing the comic artist Jake Parker says, where when he sets himself with the task of making a book or doing some project, his goal is to get it finished, not perfect. And it's like, yeah, like make the thing, and you'll be perfect when you're dead, which is a thing Dan Harmon, the guy who created and wrote the show Community and Rick and Morty, that's a thing he's been known to say. It's like, you'll be perfect when you're dead. So yeah, just dive in. Don't take yourself so seriously if you're afraid of getting started. There's only one way to finish a project, and that's to start it and then finish it. That was something I was always getting hung up with in my 20s, is like, I really wanted to make projects, make films and comics and animated projects and stuff. And I would get too hung up on how good I was doing it, and I would just kind of back off of everything prematurely and never finish anything. And it's a bad impulse. You just gotta get over your fear of not being good and keep moving. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. What is it? Finding Nemo? Dory? I never saw the Finding Dory movie, but I've never seen most movies that other people have seen. Oh, speaking of movies, I saw that there's a Chicken Run 2 coming out. As if anybody remembers Chicken Run 1 at this point. Like, what year did Chicken Run come out? That's the stop motion animated chicken movie starring, I think, Bruce Willis. Is that right? Let's see. And it looks like the Wallace and Gromit. And there's a new Wallace and Gromit movie coming out in the next year or two. We'll have Chicken Run 2 and a new Wallace and Gromit movie. I never saw any Wallace and Gromit movie, by the way. Chicken Run. That came out the year 2000. So 22. No, it's going to be 23 years later. The sequel will be out. But I think is it the same studio that made Chicken Run and Wallace and Gromit? Yeah. Isn't it that Nick Park guy? Yeah. And didn't their studio burn down and they lost like all their... It was like right after Chicken Run, I think. Their studio like had a fire and it ruined all their stuff. So it's like they couldn't make movies for a long time. And then they did that what was it called? Washed Up or something? They did a CGI one that looked like it. flushed away, or something like that. Let's see. It at least looked like the other ones, but it was a CGI one. Let's see. I'm looking through this guy's filmography. So that flushed away one, I think, is what it was called. It isn't one of his Shaun the Sheep movie. What is this studio called? Aardman Animations. Oh, they did do Flushed Away. Let's see, Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep. Then beginning with Owsat, Aardman entered the computer animation market with Flushed Away. I don't know what Owsat means. Let's see. Is there anything about a fire in this? Oh, they produced the music video for the song "My Baby Just Cares for Me" by Nina Simone, and I love that song. But I know a version that John Flansburgh of They Might Be Giants, his wife, put out an EP by a band called Spawn. The band was called Spondy, and it had this. It was a bunch of musicians that were kind of tangentially related to They Might Be Giants, and I love that little 4-track EP, or maybe it's 5 tracks, but it's so beautiful. And then there's a cover of "My Baby Just Cares for Me" on it that I really love. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked upon sidetracked. Uh, I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page, trying to figure out. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, on October 10th of October 2005. That's the day before my birthday. A serious fire at a storage facility used by Aardman and other Bristol-based companies destroyed over 30 years of props, models, and scenery, often built by the Bristol-based Cod Steaks. That's a weird name for a place that. All right. Anyway, this warehouse was used for storage of past projects, and so did not prevent the production of their current projects at the time. In addition, the company's library of finished films was stored elsewhere and was undamaged. Oh, okay, so they didn't lose so much. An electrical fault was determined to be the cause of the blaze. Referring to the 2004 South Asia earthquake and tsunami, Park was quoted as saying, "Even though it is a precious and nostalgic collection and valuable to the company, in light of other tragedies, today isn't a big deal." Interesting. I remember hearing it as being a huge deal and like messing up their production for years to come, but I guess that wasn't the case. Okay. My tip is splitting. It's getting to be that time where my brush starts fighting with me because the ink starts to harden in the middle of the brush, and it kind of stiffens the bristles. But if it really starts giving me trouble, I've got some water here at my desk that I can kind of wash it out with a little bit. But yeah, like 23 years later, they're doing a sequel to Chicken Run. That seems like an interesting decision. Like I don't know if any kid today has heard of the movie Chicken Run. But that Wikipedia page for it reminded me that it was like a huge success when it came out. It was like a big box office seller or something. Like I think we saw it in theaters. I don't really remember it, but I remember hearing at the time it was like a huge success, and then yeah, I just read that again, and it reminded me. My baby don't care for shows. My baby don't care for clothes. My baby just cares for me. My baby don't care for cars and races. My baby don't care for high tone places. Liz Taylor's not his style, and even Lana Turner's smile. Something he can't see. Something he can't see. My baby don't care. Who knows it? My baby just cares for me. His face looks a little jacked. I might edit that. Yeah, my brush is starting to fight with me. But 'tis a shoddy craftsman what blames his tools. I'm gonna rinse this out a little bit. I live dangerously. I do it right on top of the middle of the page. Dry this brush out a little bit. Even just like, ooh, I'm gonna knock everything over and have a real Aardman Studios issue on my hands. Okay. I think that'll handle a lot better now. Just trying to fine tune the point. There we go. Let's see. This is part of Mort's shoe back here. Oh, I forgot I heated up more tea, but I think I'm just gonna try and stick it out at this point. Let's see what I want to do. Trying to avoid tangents as I do this. Okay. Fence, chain link fence. Man, this is gonna kill my brain. This is the kind of stuff that makes me sleepy. Oh, Moisey. I might grab that cup of tea after all. Yeah, I should probably do that now sooner than later, as that water's only getting colder by the moment. Okay. I'll be back momentarily. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, we got tea, everybody. We got tea. Praise be, we got tea. Oh, yeah. That's what I needed. Popeye's spinach. The tea. I just drink my tea straight black. I used for my whole life I put milk and sugar in my tea since I was like 5, because that's when I started drinking tea, because my mom's from Ireland and drank tea and would make it for us all the time. But because I started drinking it when I was a little kid, I used to put a lot of sugar in it and milk. And then when I was like a teenager, I started putting less sugar in it and a very tiny bit of milk. And I had it down to a science. Like I knew exactly how much sugar and how much milk. And I drank it that way for years and years and years and years. And then I was making an animation in this room a few years ago, and I was getting sick and tired of having to go up and down the stairs every, however long to get a new cup of tea. And because I was doing at least 8 cups of tea a day then, at least. And most days anyway. But let's see. So I was getting sick of going up and down the stairs so many times a day. It was like long periods of interrupting my workflow. And so I took the water boiler and I put it on my desk. And it just meant I was going to have to get used to drinking it black if I didn't want to go downstairs every half hour, whatever it would be. Like at first it was good to like get breaks in here and there from working on my animation, but it started to become kind of a nuisance. And so but I was like, I kind of need tea to keep going. It maybe it's a psychological thing, but like I don't know, it just it kind of helps, especially when you get a good hot sip at the start of a cup. It just kind of like reignites me, it feels like. I mean, it's also, I'm sure it is psychological, but what do you call it? What am I talking about? So yeah, I put the water boiler on my desk, and as a result, stopped putting milk and sugar in my tea. And I don't think it was very long, but I got used to drinking it black, yeah, pretty quickly. And then it was like it had been a couple months. I was like, you know what? I haven't had milk or sugar in my tea for so long. I'm gonna do it as a treat right now. And then I put milk and sugar in my tea the way I always used to, and suddenly it didn't taste very good to me anymore. But it was kind of a like a secret blessing, because I'm sure drinking that much, if I had continued over the past 5 years, I think it's only been 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. Um, if I was still consuming that much sugar in my daily diet, I'd be like 50 pounds heavier, I think. Because in the past 4 years, my metabolism's gone like, I don't know, is it down, up? Whichever one it is, where suddenly it's really easy to put on weight. Um, and I think if I was still consuming that much sugar, I'd have like diabetes by now. I don't know. It's kind of like appalling to think that I was drinking. I was putting that much sugar in me every day, because I forget how much it was. I think it was like, I think by that time it was like 1.5 maybe tablespoons of sugar I was putting in. But I mean, I mean, for as much tea as as I drink, and especially then, as much as I was drinking, I can't. It kind of makes me nauseous to think about how much sugar that is. Like, I'm no extraordinary health nut, but I don't know. I am not the sugar fiend I once was. Though I still like me some chocolate. If I get my hands on some chocolate, I'll go to town. Coo. So yeah, the middle one of my three sisters had her birthday 10 days ago. And the middle of my three brothers, his birthday is today. And they are the fourth and fifth kid out of the seven of us. Heather and Jimmy. Both of whom have been on this Ink the Book show at some point. But it seems like I can never get anybody on anymore. Even Liam barely ever comes on. I send people invites all the time to like come on and talk art with me. I don't know. I think they're like self-conscious about being on camera for the most part. Though I know Liam isn't. Liam will come on still sometimes, but he's just he's got other things going on too. So, and also I haven't been getting on as much as I normally like to lately. So that could be part of it too, I suppose. Dang it. My finger knocked my bristles and messed up my point. Dang it. My bristles are still messed up. Okay. I feel like I hear my roommate's friend over, but I might be imagining that. I don't see her car outside. That's another thing. It's like I feel like as much as I do draw, that's something that's getting neglected a little bit. I'm not being as social around here lately. So I'm trying to get a balance struck between my day job, my art, like church and stuff. Because I try to go to church every Sunday, and I also try to watch like because they do the streaming masses every day, so I try to do that every day as well. I try to keep up with it. And but I also tried to not forsake time with my family, my brothers and sisters, my parents, and time spent hanging out with my my roommates. The one being like my best friend since high school. So I feel like I think we first became friends in 2004. And I tried to, as much of my free time as I spend in this room drawing, I try to, make it a point to hang out and not neglect that. I mean, they're not starved for attention or anything, but I don't want to let that aspect of my life slip away from me. So usually I have a pretty good balance between keeping all those things kind of balanced in my life, and none too like I don't lose too much time on any of those things. But lately it's I don't know why, but it's just been a little out of whack, and all the different things I try to keep up with have become really out of proportion. Well, it really got rough throughout all December, which makes sense, but it's still kind of been that way this month so far, but we'll get back. Like I say, this week I have a little bit more free time than I than I have been getting lately. Even if I won't get a chance to stream tomorrow, I should get like some extra time this week, hopefully. We'll see how it works out. I always make plans, and every time I make plans and state them on these broadcasts, I feel like that's when it doesn't work out every time. I guess I should play my cards a little closer to my chest, if you know what I mean. Being a supervisor comes with its perks. He's got a key card to let him into the building after hours. So I did a Bonehead animation a while ago that I've got. I still have to fix up and get onto this channel. Maybe I'll be able to kind of move on that a little bit this week or next week. We'll see. There's a billion things I want to do that I'm always trying to get around to. So we'll see. But yeah, I did the voice of Mort. I did the voice of everybody except Bonehead, really, and Petunia. But Petunia only has one line. It's my sister-in-law. And Liam, my brother, he does Bonehead's voice. I recorded all of Bonehead's voice with me doing the lines at first, but I didn't, because I do all the other voices. I felt like I should cast somebody else as the main character, because I don't know, it just seemed like it was a lot of me, and it just seemed kind of silly. But so I had my brother Liam, who's always done acting and stuff. I had him do the voice of Bonehead. And I still did all the other characters, but I think my favorite one was Mort. Gee, Bonehead. You sure are ugly. I don't think he says that. I know he doesn't say that in the cartoon. I didn't realize it, but I figured it out kind of recently that the voice I do for him is kind of inspired by what's his name? Cliff from Cheers, which I had just started watching maybe a year before. Before I started thinking about what Mort's voice would sound like. And Cliff is played by John Ratzenberger, who he's the guy who's done a voice in like every Pixar movie up to a certain point. I think WALL-E might have been the last one, but I didn't see WALL-E, so I don't know what voice he does in that one. But he was like Ham in Toy Story. He was the Abominable Snowman in Monsters Inc. He was, I'm sure he was something in Finding Nemo, right? Oh yeah, isn't he a starfish or something in the dentist's office? Gee there, Fraser. Hey, Nami. kind of like a wise guy Boston accent. More so in Cheers, less so in his other roles. But he's got a very iconic voice anyway. Okay, okay, I am done with this page, I think. I'm gonna give me these. Gee, Bonehead, what are you, nuts? You're out of your gourd. Criminy, Bonehead. What are you trying to pull? Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I know the last time I drew this building, I did do like all this side to black, but it's a different hour of the day, and I think I'm gonna let the coloring do the talking on this one, just so it's not the same thing as the last time it shows up. So it'll look a little unique each time you see it. Less copy and paste, right? I like to do this in lieu of bricks sometimes if it's small enough. If the detail has to be small. Although the bricks on this building are way bigger. And it's farther away, so I don't know. Maybe they're like, maybe this building's made out of cinder blocks. Okay. I'm calling that a stream. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be on tomorrow. I'll be in a bumper car flinging balls through hoops tomorrow evening. And then I should be able to get some time. Yeah, I might do two streams for 2 different pages on Saturday. I'm thinking is what I'm gonna do, and maybe it'll work out. Maybe something will work out. Because I feel like every time I've had a plan, the past few weeks, or many of the plans I've had have fallen through. So I don't know. I promise nothing, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye. Take care.